What's up YouTube, Saf here on Super Saf TV, and this is everything you need to know about the iPhone 7. So the rumor mill is heating up once again, and as I've been doing for the past few years, I'm going to get all of those rumors and leaks along with my predictions, put them together in one place to hopefully give you guys a better idea of what to expect. So let's get straight to it. This year we are expected to see two versions of the iPhone 7 as we have been doing for the past few years. So we're going to have an iPhone 7 as well as an iPhone 7 Plus. Now the display sizes are likely to remain the same, so 4.7 inches and 5.5 inches. So not many changes there. Now in terms of the design, this is something that a lot of people were hoping for, something fresh, something new, something completely different to what we've seen before. Unfortunately, based on the leaks that we've been seeing recently, this does not look like the case. It looks like we will be seeing a similar shape and size to what we've seen previously on the iPhone 6 and 6S, but with some minor differences. So the biggest change we're going to be seeing in terms of the design is redesigned antenna bands. So those antenna lines which nobody really liked on the iPhone 6S and 6. Those are going to be slightly redesigned, so they're not going to be as obvious, so we're not going to have a line going through the back. And ideally I would have liked to have seen these gone completely, but it looks like Apple are going to be waiting for this. And another thing to bear in mind is that based on previous years, the leaks that we see around this year are almost exactly what we see when the device is out. So this is very likely going to be what the iPhone 7 is going to be looking like, what you're seeing on screen right now. Now I know that's going to be disappointing for a lot of you. It is quite disappointing for me, but if you want to customize the look of your iPhone 7 or the iPhone 6S or 6, then definitely go ahead and check out Dbrand, who are our sponsor for this episode. They provide skins which let you customize the look of your device, so you don't have to worry too much about what it's going to look like because you can give it a custom look yourself anyway. I'll be dropping a link to them in the description below. Now we're still going to be seeing full metal unibody builds, so still going to feel quite premium. And the camera might protrude a little bit less this year around. Those are some of the leaks and rumors. Maybe completely flush as well. This may or may not happen. I'm personally not too bothered if the camera bumps up a little bit anyway. And the important change that we should be seeing this year is waterproofing. So we've seen this a lot on the competition, so from the S7 and S7 Edge. And this is very likely to come over here on the iPhone 7. So this would be the first iPhone that's fully water and dust resistant. Now the displays, they are likely to remain quite similar, and there are some rumors that are suggesting that we're going to be seeing a bump up in resolution. So 1080p for the iPhone 7 and Quad HD for the iPhone 7 Plus. I very much doubt this. From what I can see based on the leaks and rumors, we are going to be seeing the same resolution. So this is the same what we've had in previous models of the iPhone. And this is looking quite likely because Apple are not in the pixels race. They don't cram too many pixels in their smartphones because that does affect battery life. And according to Apple, you're not going to be able to see those individual pixels at normal viewing distance if they are Retina. So I wouldn't expect these to change. We might see some slight differences in technology. We are going to see 3D touch, so maybe a more advanced version of 3D touch. For those of you who are not aware of a 3D touch, it's basically a pressure sensitive display like we've got on the 6S and 6S Plus, where it's going to detect the pressure that you are putting on the display and give you some more options, and this is definitely quite useful. So we might see version 2 of 3D touch, and also a True Tone display is likely because this is something that we've seen on the iPads, the recent iPads, and this is basically going to change the color slightly depending on your environment. So if you're viewing your phone in the dark, then it's not going to show you as much blue, which does make you struggle to sleep apparently, so this should be quite nice as well. Now moving on to the internals, we are going to be seeing the Apple A10 chip. Now, we're not too sure about the clock speed or how many cores it's going to have, but this is going to be super fast. This is what we see every year, and iPhones are some of the fastest devices out there, so that's not something that I'd be worried about. Now, for the RAM, you're looking at 2 GB for the iPhone 7, but some rumors are suggesting that the iPhone 7 Plus will have 3 GB of RAM. Now this isn't confirmed, we may still get 2 GB on the Plus model, but some rumors are suggesting that because of some additional features such as multitasking on the larger display of the 7 Plus, we may be seeing some more RAM, so that's also a possibility. Now in terms of the storage versions, there's lots of things going around. We may still see a 16 GB base model. Now I really hope this is not the case, and I hope we go to a 32 GB base model, but you can never put it past Apple. They may still give a 16GB base model. There's some leaks that are suggesting that we might even go up to 256GB, so maybe 32, 128GB and 256GB. This may just be reserved for the larger Plus model, and we may still be seeing the base 16GB model for the standard iPhone 7. I really hope this is not the case, but you never know. Now let's talk about the cameras. This is where it gets quite interesting. Resolution wise, I can pretty much guarantee that it's going to be 12 megapixels, and this is because Apple maintained 8 megapixels for many years on their iPhones, and they just upgraded to 12 megapixels on the 6S, so it's very unlikely that they're going to be going to anything larger in terms of pixels. 12 megapixels is what we're most likely going to be seeing, but we are going to be seeing some improvements, so larger pixel sizes, so better low light performance, better colors, and the general updates that we see year on year. And iPhones generally have some of the best cameras out there, so I'm pretty confident that we're going to be seeing some nice cameras. What's interesting, however, is that some rumors and leaks are suggesting that the Plus model, so the iPhone 7 Plus, will have a dual lens setup. Now, we've seen some implementations of dual lenses recently, such as the LG G5, which has a single standard angle lens and then has a super wide angle lens, and the Huawei P9, which has an RGB sensor as well as a monochrome sensor. Those work together to give some better detail and better colors in the images. How Apple will implement their dual cameras is still yet to be seen. It might be similar to some of these. Some rumors are suggesting that we are going to be seeing optical zoom on the iPhone 7 Plus. Now, I'm not sure technically how that's going to work, but that might also be a possibility. But it is looking like the dual camera setup will be reserved for the iPhone 7 Plus. 4K video goes without saying. Now, for the front-facing cameras, we're looking at 5 megapixel once again, so no resolution change here based on last year. Once again, this is because of Apple's track record of having 1.2 megapixels for many years, and they've just upgraded to 5, so that's not going to change. We may see some improvements in terms of low light capabilities and things like that, and we may also see a wide angle lens for the front-facing camera. This is a trend amongst selfie cameras these days because a lot of people take group selfies, so this is something that we might be seeing on the iPhone 7. And 1080p video recording from the front-facing camera, this is something that I'm hoping for anyway. Apple still have 720p on the iPhone 6s and 6s Plus, which is definitely quite backdated, so having 1080p would definitely be useful. Now, for the operating system, we're going to be seeing iOS 10. In terms of the specific features, we are going to have to wait and see, and there's going to be an Apple event soon as well, so that might give us a few hints in terms of what we can expect on the software side of things, but we are going to be seeing some general improvements in terms of performance. In terms of other additional hardware features, now this is something that you've probably heard before because it's been covered quite a bit, and it's looking likely that we may be losing the 3.5mm headphone jack. That will be going altogether. This is looking very, very likely based on all the leaks and rumors. Now, personally for me, that's not a huge deal because I use Bluetooth earphones anyway, but if you've gone out and spent a lot of money on some wide earphones, then that might be a bit of an issue. No doubt there's going to be some adapters that Apple will be selling, maybe 20 or 30 bucks, that's going to set you back. But there are going to be some other options, and you will also have headphones which are already out these days, which will connect through the Lightning port. So this is going to be quite interesting. I personally not too concerned about losing that. I know some of you will be. Now, there's also a possibility of having a smart connector on the back. Now, this is once again looking like it's going to be for the iPhone 7 Plus. So this is going to allow things like wireless charging, possibly, maybe connecting to some other accessories, maybe a keyboard and things like that. So this is also a possibility, and certain leaks do show this, certain renders show this on the back of the iPhone 7 Plus model. This is something we're going to have to wait and see, but it would be quite interesting. There's some other rumors about stereo speakers, so potentially 2 speakers on the bottom of the device. This is because the 3.5mm headphone jack would have disappeared, so we'll have some space there for possibly dual speakers. And some leaks are suggesting that we're going to be seeing speakers on the top, on the bottom. Now, I would take these with a pinch of salt. This is very unlikely to happen, but we might see some form of dual stereo speaker setup on the iPhone 7. There's also some leaks and rumors that are suggesting that we're going to be seeing some improvements to Touch ID, and maybe that it's going to be part of the display itself, so no actual home button. Once again, I take that with a pinch of salt. Maybe for the next iPhone we might be seeing that, but for the iPhone 7 it is looking likely that we are going to be seeing the standard Touch ID, but it might have some improvements in terms of speed and performance. Now, in terms of the batteries, these are likely to remain relatively the same, so between 1700 to 2000 for the iPhone 7. and between 2,700 to 3,000 milliamps an hour for the iPhone 7 Plus. Both of these are not going to be removable, they never have been, but we may see fast charging. Now this is something that's become quite common on the Android side of things, and this is very, very useful. So it'll be nice to see if the iPhone 7 does implement quick charging so that we can get faster charging times, especially on the Plus model, which does take a very long time to charge. Now, when can we hear about these officially, and when can you get your hands on these? Well, based on last year, we heard the announcement on the 9th of September, and the 25th of September is when the phones were released. Now, the release is always on a Friday, so the closest date is going to be the 23rd of September this year. So it's likely that we're going to be seeing the release on the 23rd of September, and the announcement a few weeks earlier, so maybe around the 7th. So these are the dates that you want to be putting in your diary, and this is very, very likely based on Apple's record of announcements and releases. This is roughly what we're going to be expecting. It may be slightly here or there. In terms of pricing, we're looking at your standard pricing, so starting at around £540 or around $650 in the US for the 7. So that's going to be the base model. We're not sure what storage size this will be, and with the iPhone 7 Plus, we're looking at around £620 or $750. Now, there are some rumors that are suggesting that the Plus model is going to increase quite a bit in price because of the dual lens feature, as well as more RAM, so they are going to be charging a little bit more for that. So I wouldn't be surprised if you're going to be looking at over $800 for the base model off contract. And for the larger models, so looking at 256 gigabytes, I wouldn't be surprised if you're going to be paying over $1,000. So that's just something to bear in mind. So there we have it, the leaks and rumors rounded up here for the iPhone 7 and iPhone 7 Plus. Let me know what you think in the comment section below based on these leaks and rumors. If you want to see the latest content from the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus as soon as they're released, then make sure you have subscribed to the channel. I'm going to be having the usual coverage, including camera comparisons. I know a lot of you like to see those. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, then please do hit that thumbs up button for me. It really does help me out. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on Super Saf TV, and I'll see you next time.